성범죄를 저지른 뒤 남성에서 여성으로 성전환을 한 트렌스젠더의 교도소 수감 문제를 두고 스코틀랜드가 들썩이고 있습니다. 논란의 주인공은 트랜스젠더 여성 이슬라 브라이슨인데요. 브라이슨은 과거 남성이던 2016년과 2019년 온라인에서 만난 두 여성을 성폭행한 혐의로 지난 23일 유죄 판결을 받았습니다. 그런데 재판을 기다리던 기간 그는 여성으로 성전환을 했고 여성 전용 구치소 내 격리구역에 수감되는데 이 때문에 다른 여성 재소자들의 안전이 걱정된다는 지적이 빗발치게 된 것입니다. 특히 이번 사례가 더 주목을 받게 된 이유는 스코틀랜드 의회가 법적 성별을 더 쉽게 정정하도록 하는 법안을 통과시킨 뒤 거부권을 행사하는 영국 정부와 갈등을 빚고 있는 상황이기 때문인데 하지만 논란이 잦아들지 않자 결국 니톨라 스터전 스코틀랜드 자치정부 수반은 기존 입장을 철회하고 대중과 의회의 우려를 고려해 브라이슨을 여성구치소에서 남성구치소로 옮길 것이라고 밝혔습니다.
오늘은 미국의 상원 청문회를 보실 건데요. 질문할 의원은 공화당의 테드 크루즈 상원의원입니다. 대답하는 사람은 세라 넷버런이라는 인물로 현직 뉴욕 남부지방법원의 치안판사입니다. 그녀는 캘리포니아 로스앤젤레스 로스쿨에서 박사학위를 받았고 낙태 권리를 옹호하는 생식법 센터에서 인턴 활동을 하였습니다. 치안판사는 임기직이지만 그녀는 이제 이 청문회와 표결만 거치면 뉴욕 남부지방법원의 종신직 판사가 될 수 있습니다. 그럼 영상을 함께 보시죠.
This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay, so he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
And also criminal deviant conduct, which the record doesn't disclose what that was exactly. 1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
Abhorrent conduct.
Okay.
For which there are real victims.
And this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're asking me?
Yes, the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision based on what the law is.
I asked you a question. Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. The Bureau of Prison argued what I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. I'm going to quote what you wrote. You wrote, quote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate, that's kind of you to say, but there are no signs that petitioner is at risk of reoffending. The record is devoid of evidence of incidents of violence or assault during petitioner's incarceration when she was the perpetrator, only the victim. A theoretical risk of sexual assault by the prisoner without more cannot support the BOP's position. No evidence, theoretical. Have you dealt, in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petitioner.
You also wrote, the BOP also posits that permitting petitioner to live among women will be traumatizing and possibly dangerous to them. This concern is overblown. I have to say, if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered. I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.